6:22. Proverbs 6:22. When you go to sleep, it shall lead you. When you sleep, it shall keep you. And when you awaken, it shall talk with you. You know, it's a good thing to have God's law, God's word always in our mind or our hearts. That way we ain't filled with something corrupt, but we're filled with something pure that's given by Him. Okay. Joshua 7:20. Hmm, 25. 7:20 through 25. And Achan realized he could no longer hide his sin, said without remorse, I have disobeyed and sinned against the Lord, I admit it. He said without remorse. This is key. If he would have had remorse, the Lord may have spared him. He confessed, but he didn't care what he did. You know, if we say, yeah, I'm a sinner, it don't matter as long as if we're not willing to turn from it to God. And that's where he was. Yeah, he's admitting to it. People already knew. He's just confessing what they knew. But he had no remorse. That's key. If he would have remorse, the Lord probably would have dealt with it differently than this. Because God's loving. And what he's ashamed of isn't that he did it, it's that people found out the Lord knew. Verse 21. But when I saw a richly embroidered Babylonian robe, 5 pounds of silver, and a small bar of gold, I couldn't resist, so I took them. They are buried in the ground inside my tent. The robe is on top of the silver and gold. Now, God knew all this, but the people didn't. And so they're able to find it now. And he's kind of somewhat bragging about it. I couldn't resist. You know, he had such greed that he buries it, and rather, then oftentimes it don't make sense. Once we come to the light and the sins revealed, it's like, why? Joshua immediately sent some men to Achan's tent, where they found the things buried in the middle of the tent, just as he said, with the robe on top of the silver and gold. So he's at least finally being truthful, but he isn't got any remorse. He's just sparing immediate judgment. They brought everything to Joshua for the children of Israel to see and laid them before the Lord as evidence. Achan had admitted his guilt only after he had been exposed. That's also key. People on Judgment Day are going to finally confess their sinners, but it's already too late. If he would have admitted to it from the get-go, the punishment of God may have been much different. He still would have faced punishment. But if we're having a heart of repentance, punishment isn't as bad as judgment. Verse 24. So Joshua, okay. So Joshua and the tribal leaders took Achan and the descendants of Zerah to the nearby valley of Achor. They also took along the Babylonian robe and silver and gold, Achan's wife and grown sons and daughters, his donkeys, his sheep, his tent, everything he owned. So everything that belongs to him, all his immediate family, who are under his authority are brought. Our sin doesn't just affect us. Oftentimes it influences others and affects them in a negative way. Joshua spoke to Achan and his family one last time. Why did you bring all this trouble on Israel and on the Lord? Their sin affected Israel. They lost a mighty battle because of this. You knew the consequences, but none of you have shown remorse. His family probably saw him do it and could have turned him in just as much. But so the Lord's sentence must be carried out. Then, because Achan had brought disaster on all of Israel, they stoned him and his family, killed his cattle, and burned everything he owned. You know, the judgment of the Lord is going to be poured out. If we want to be the ones that show remorse before the end, or are we going to wait till death comes our way and destruction?